Hello, my bookish lovelies, Kira here, and today I'm going to be doing the All I Want for Christmas book tag. So, we are now approaching the season of Christmas, and it's very exciting. There's so many things that are happening, of course, like this time of year, and I felt like this tag was a lot of fun. I did it last year, and actually, my answers have kind of changed. Of course, like, there's still a few things, but I've read a lot this year, so I'm just going to go ahead and get into the questions. Question number 1. What fictional character do you want Santa to leave under your Christmas tree? Well, last year I said Rysand. That still holds true. But now we can add Thomas Cresswell. Seriously, like, there's just too many great characters. Laszlo Strange, because, like, that man can dream. I love Laszlo. Definitely Rysand, definitely Thomas Cresswell from Haunting Prince Dracula, and definitely Laszlo Strange from Strange the Dreamer, because, like, those are some hot men, people, and if they're leaving them under my Christmas tree, I want to get to know them better. Question number 2. What character do you want to kiss under the mistletoe? Thomas Cresswell, of course. I mean, I know it's Audrey Rose's man and everything, but I mean, if he were to materialize, she probably wouldn't mind if I borrowed him for like a little bit, but that's the way the cookie would crumble. Question number 3. You write your Christmas list for Santa. What are the top 5 books on it? So they just recently came out with Monstrous Volume 1, which is a really big hardback book, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I love the Barnes & Noble edition of this book. It is just downright beautiful. There's also a new Dune special edition book that recently came out that I would absolutely love. The sprayed edges are turquoise. There is beautiful end papers like on either side, and there is a print inside the book. I mean, you guys gotta look this up. Like, it is absolutely wonderful and gorgeous. It's a little on the pricey side, but it's definitely a collectible. And I've been kind of interested in Dune lately, so I kind of feel like I really would love that book. I mean, it's just perfect and gorgeous. There's also Shadowfrost, which is the first in the Shadowfrost trilogy. It came out like a few months ago, and I heard a little bit about it, and it seemed like it got a lot of hype like when it first came out, but I really haven't heard too much about it anymore. But I'm still really curious about it, and I still really want to know what this book is about, because it seems like it'd be interesting. It is an Asian fantasy. It's basically about darkness rising, like, in this kingdom. That's always a great way to start out a introduction to a magical book, is like that there is trouble afoot, because where there's trouble, there's entertainment. There's also another book. It's called Rules for Vanishing. And that one looks really awesome as well. I saw it on Riley Marie's channel, and she said that she absolutely loved it. I guess it's supposed to be like kind of like a documentary in the form of the Blair Witch Project, which I'm not really freaked out by that documentary anymore, but when I was growing up and I watched that documentary, like, I was pretty freaked out. And I would love to relive getting freaked out over that documentary, because at the time it was very cutting edge, it was very, interesting. But now it's not so much anymore, but I would still really be interested in seeing what the Rules for Vanishing is really all about. Another book that I was really interested in is The Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King. I read this, I want to say, in middle school, and it was my very first introduction to Stephen King. It is more of a fantasy horror, like, than just a horror, so if you like fantasy, you'll actually really enjoy this, because it is kind of like Stephen King style fantasy. And when I read it in high school, I had never read anything by Stephen King before, and I felt like this was the best way for me to get into Stephen King, and I'd really like to do a reread of it. Not to mention, I do love this cover. This cover is absolutely gorgeous, and I just would be really interested to see how I responded to it now, considering I loved it so much in middle school. Also, the Court of Thorns and Roses Collector's Edition is just stunning. It's absolutely stunning. I would love to have this book. The collector's item. It just came out this November, and I think it is perfect. I really was very addicted to this story because it is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast with a little bit of a twist. And they go to fairyland, and it is a new adult book, so there are sex scenes, but it was very enjoyable and I really, really, really loved it. So I would love to have the collector's edition as well. Question number 4. It's Secret Santa at Hogwarts. What do you most want to receive? I would actually like a hippogriff. I think having a hippogriff would just be downright amazing. Like, who needs gas and a car when you can just drive your hippogriff to work? Because, you know, and not to mention you don't have to worry about it getting hijacked because hippogriffs can be quite vicious if you do not know how to deal with them. So I think I would love to have a hippogriff. Question number 5. You get to spend the day with the characters and movie adaptation actors from one fandom. What do you pick? I would actually love to meet Dan Torrance from Dr. Sleep. I loved that character so much. Yes, he was kind of traumatized and yes, he had a ton of issues. But at the same time, he did show a lot of character development, especially by the time we got to Dr. Sleep. He really grew into himself. And I would love to meet somebody that has the ability to shine. Not to mention like the fact in real life, like I would love to hang out with Ewan McGregor. He would be amazing to spend time with because I have loved him since like forever, since I remember seeing him as Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars. And I would absolutely love to have an opportunity to spend some time with him and just pick his brain and just talk to him because he seems like he is just such a nice guy. So Ewan McGregor would probably be that. So I mean, whether or not he's a character or he's Dan Torrance, it doesn't really bother me one way or the other because I think I would have an interesting time with both of them. Question number 6. What fictional animal would you like to replace Rudolph and be able to meet you on the roof? So for this one, I think I would still like to have a hippogriff. I would like them to meet me on the roof and I would like to go sailing among the stars as the hippogriff flies around at night, you know, on a cloudless night. And I think it would just be absolutely beautiful and a lot of fun because while I'm not a huge fan of flying, I think a hippogriff would be like a whole different experience. I might be a little freaked out because I do have some problems with heights, so I don't know why I'm saying a hippogriff, but I just think it would be really amazing to be able to experience that. Just because it seems so fun and the hippogriffs just seem like such great animals. I love a lot of the animals in the wizarding world, like a lot of them really fascinate me, but I think I would have a lot of fun with those. Question number 7. You invite 10 fictional characters to your New Year's Eve party. Who do you pick? So I think I would definitely want Thomas Cresswell and Audrey Rose. That's 2. Because if something bad happens, I kind of want to make sure like that I have some people like there that would be able to sift through like all of the bad stuff that happened. And I feel like Thomas Cresswell and Audrey Rose would definitely be able to solve any crime, not to mention the fact that they would be very intelligent conversation. Yeah, okay, they'd be talking about dead bodies, but whatever, who cares? Like, I think it would just be an interesting conversation, and not to mention like the fact that I am too interested in serial killers, so I think we would have a lot in common. I would also really love to have Vin, Eland, and Kelsier from the Mistborn trilogy in this party as well. They have amazing abilities, like they're able to push metals and able to pull on metals and burn metals in their stomach, and they can do some really amazing things, and I feel like that they would be a lot of fun to have at a party. But plus, like, I mean, Kelsier is just like this badass. I mean, so is Vin, and Eland's pretty badass too. Okay, let's just face it, they're just all badasses and I would love to meet them, so I'm just going to invite them to my party because I would just love to meet them. So I'm up to 5, so I got 5 more to pick for this party. And I do feel like everybody would get along because, you know, like there's really no bad guys in this so far. But maybe we need a bad guy like to shake things up a little bit. Yarvi from Half a King series. Yarvi is very logical. He's also another very intelligent character. But I think he'd be like an interesting person to add to the mix because you never know what he is planning and you kind of like never know like what his motives are. And being the fact that he plots so much, I feel like he would be like the perfect person like to have to kind of, you know, like at least shake things up from behind the scenes. I know he's probably like not the most likable character, but he's definitely a great character from Joe Abercrombie's series. And I think that, you know, to add him into the mix, like he would probably be like one way in front of the good, like in front of the people that we have there. and doing stuff behind the scenes like that we don't know about until much later, and then it's possibly too late to change anything. I know like that he's kind of a very corrupt character, but I really fell in love with him because he's one of those great characters that you kind of like love to hate. At the same time, you don't really hate him. You just kind of like, you know, hope that everything turns out okay for him, because he seems to be getting in over his head, but that's a spoiler, so we're not going to discuss anything more about that. I would also like to have Alex and Prince Henry from Red, White, and Royal Blue there as well, because I just feel like they would be just such fun, and we gotta have like a little bit more like love at this party, because being the fact that this is a Christmas party, we definitely need like, you know, some more things like that will just melt our hearts. And I feel like that couple would be just perfect. So very personable, and they're very likable characters, and I feel like they would get like along like with the rest of the party. Not sure how they would get along with Yarby though, but I would love to find out. As far as villains go, I would probably invite Voldemort to the party, because I would want to shake things up a little bit. You know, somebody dies, you know, we have Thomas Cresswell and Audrey Rose to help us solve the murder. We have Yarby probably trying to align with both sides, because that's what he does. And then we also have the couple, Alex and Henry, like, you know, kind of like standing from the sidelines like, going, what the hell's going on over here at this party? But if you have Voldemort at a party, we definitely still need Dumbledore as well. And Dumbledore, you know, kind of be like, I think Dumbledore would probably be a great moderator between like everybody. So I definitely feel like we would need a moderator, because if we're inviting Voldemort and we have Yarby there, things are about to get real. I think the last person like that I would probably invite to my party is Goddard. I know, I hate Goddard, but we have to have a person that we hate, because nothing unifies people quicker than hating somebody together, and I want to be able to bond with the characters that I like. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to invite Goddard so that we can all hate him and hope that he doesn't reap us. Then again, we have Dumbledore to help protect us. I included like a lot of bad characters in this, didn't I? Things are going to be really interesting. We'll let you know if the house doesn't burn down. Question number 8. What character would make a good Santa? So for this, I actually picked Deja from Pumpkinheads, because Deja is just this very boisterous, very happy-go-lucky person, and she just falls in love and she loves a lot of people. I feel like she, out of all of these characters, is most likely to be a Santa Claus. And I would love to see her as Santa Claus, because I just think she is just such an amazing character. And I really, 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 really love her, and I feel like she would be perfect for this. So thank you guys so much for watching this tag. For who I tag in this, I'm tagging Tiffy E, A Wandering Mind, and 10-minute book reviews. So I'm going to link all of their channels down in the description below, along with the person that originally created this tag. And I hope you guys like this video. If you guys like this video, hit the little like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell icon if you guys want to receive emails every time I post. Also, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Amazon, and Goodreads. Those links are linked in the description below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching me, and I will see you guys again very soon.